Right, I am Rhoda Ngonzi. We'll get started. President Yoweri Museveni has emphasized the importance of supporting the agricultural sector, particularly the sugarcane growers who have already received backing from the Uganda Development Bank, UDB. The president praised their potential to diversify their produce by creating not just sugar, but also ethanol and animal feeds, boosting the dairy industry in the region. President Museveni made the remarks at the 4th biennial private sector CEO retreat in Jinja.
The 4th biannual CEO Forum has concluded today with a call on putting emphasis on expanding the services sector, specifically tourism and hotels, to enhance Uganda's image as a desirable destination for both domestic and international travelers. President Yoweri Museveni emphasized the significance of investing in the knowledge economy. Museveni encouraged the use of skills and innovation to produce value-added products, enabling Uganda to compete effectively on a global scale.
The knowledge economy, where you use skills and innovation to produce products. So we have been funding these efforts. But initially, of course, we had a disturbance from the Ministry of Finance because they were not really supporting them fully.
Issues related to the environment and value addition of exports was also addressed.
But you are squandering, you are losing much more money by exporting unprocessed coffee. You are losing billions of dollars each year. Why don't you see that? That's a big loss. By, is it something called opportunity cost, something you lose because you didn't? It's very high. When you export unprocessed raw materials, instead of finished products, you are losing a lot of money.
On the topic of timber exports, the president clarified his stance on value addition and discouraged the export of unprocessed timber and encouraged the local production of furniture, which can then be exported, thus creating added value for Uganda's timber resources.
Now, when it is coming from Congo, I think that one also we should persuade our Congolese friends to make furniture, because that one will be a loophole. They will take our timber, claiming it is coming from Congo. That lack of vision is what I cannot support. That State House, which we built in 2007, the furniture there is all imported. Can you imagine? That's how I called the controller who was there at that time. How can we sit on imported furniture here in Uganda?
Museveni called for the adoption of biosolutions for pest control in agriculture, citing the potential benefits for the dairy industry in particular.
We followed you in real time, particularly watching you on UBC television. About 99% of your speeches were talking about business and the economy. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. I was particularly touched with your meeting with President Putin, when you spent time talking about this very place, Killer Motors, on how we can develop our lithium into batteries, on how we can develop our own charging system, how we could develop our coffee from beans into a finished product. That is the leadership we've come to appreciate from you, Excellency.
Mentioning a vaccine being developed against ticks, the president stressed the importance of using biological methods to improve the quality of agricultural produce, including milk and beef.
Excellency, Killer Motors has prepared a business plan, 5 years business plan, which has been cleared by the National Planning Authority. And the business plan is costed at 524 billion Uganda shillings. And I would like to invite the industry chairpersons here, all the CEOs, to take interest in this investment opportunity.
Museveni urged the Prime Minister to take the lead in ensuring departments share information seamlessly for better governance. President concluded by encouraging local industries to embrace innovation, stressing the potential of the knowledge economy and the advantages of utilizing intellectual labor. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Members of Parliament on the Committee of Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance have appreciated the concern that Uganda Broadcasting Corporation needs further funding in order to improve service delivery. In a familiarization meeting with the management of UBC, the MPs questioned why the budget allocation to UBC has continued to be abused over time. In the previous financial year 2022-23, only 40% of the approved budget for UBC was released, according to the UBC Managing Director, Winston Agaba.
The spirit in which the subvention to the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has continued to hit a dead end. The UBC management, led by Winston Agaba, the MD, shared knowledge with the Parliamentary Committee on Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, chaired by Budiope MP Moses Magogo.
Failure to service the aging and obsolete broadcasting and transmission equipment that frequently breaks down. Currently, the two live view machines are faulty, thus compromising live broadcasting.
Despite several presidential directives demanding that UBC be availed funding, even the approved finance by Parliament has remained uncertain.
The presidential directive is clear, UBC to receive 30 billion going forward, and this is the second or third presidential directive to that effect. So we are very optimistic that this directive will be followed, and it is clear because it spells out what we ought to do with that money. We have to revamp and make sure we have state-of-the-art equipment.
The MPs demanded that a meeting between the committee and the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development be convened to iron out the challenge.
For me, I think, Chair, you need to meet the President of this Council as a committee for him to appreciate the challenges of UBC, because directives have been given but not implemented. So where is the problem?
Let's have our internal interaction with the Minister of Finance, with the UBC. Eventually we shall seek also the engagement of His Excellency, because he has written a letter. But some of these letters have actually not been implemented. Maybe they are not practical as well. So when we finish all this, we want to engage even His Excellency the President himself, such that he is an interested party.
But we believe that with this engagement and engaging with the Minister of Finance, we shall be able to have finance to prioritize some of the activities that must be done, because we believe that every Ugandan is entitled to the free-to-air viewing of television.
MD Agaba reminded the MPs of the $1 million debt with Intelsat, a satellite service provider, whose interest is accumulating despite the government promises to intervene.
Which has really curtailed all our endeavors to make sure that Signet is up and running, providing a service that all our clients on that platform can enjoy.
Parliament recently allocated funds to a tune of 7.5 billion to boost the free-to-air services through Signet, but this was not fulfilled. Since October 2022, the satellite service has been switched off by Intelsat, affecting the transmission of content to up-country, especially the direct-to-home service.
People should be watching free-to-air television services. So how do we get content up-country? One, we can use satellite, and two, we can use the fiber optic route. Now, NITAU is working on a project where they'll be able to connect all our 18 television sites using fiber, and then we hope to use satellite as a secondary means. However, government needs to pay the debt.
MD Agaba rubbished a myth by propagandists that UBC does not give space to all political players, as raised by the Mityana District Woman Member of Parliament, Joyce Bagala.
Please don't think about, oh, it is just government and this is what we need to do. If you invite particular people, are you gagged from inviting particular people on your platforms?
We have political programs that are running, and you'll attest to the fact that we have hosted almost all the political actors. Those that haven't appeared, it is by choice, because we have invited all the parties and we shall continue engaging, and we believe that this is a platform where you ought to articulate your issues, either alternative to what government is saying or complementing what government is saying.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The history of public broadcasters dates way back in the early 20s when the British government thought it necessary to form up its own airwave to bridge the gap of information dissemination with its citizens in what started from a million miles away from Africa in the early 20s. The continent embraced it, and various countries started creating their national radio stations whose mandate was fully funded by government. Head of Marketing UBC, William Odochi, asserts that the President's directive to fund UBC is a decision which comes in a little bit late.
For over 2 decades, the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, has dominated airwaves across the world.
Now, the idea was to make sure that the British people had an infrastructure for public information.
According to the head of sales and marketing at UBC, Odoc William, what is started from Britain was later embraced by the rest of the world, including Africa.
Being a public broadcaster means that you should be able to cater for every interest.
Uganda not being exceptional, having formed its national broadcaster in the early 50s, its job was only one.
Unlike Kenya and Tanzania, Kenya Broadcasting was born in 1963. In Uganda, Radio Uganda was born in 1953. Now, it remained a department under different ministries: information, Office of the President, Prime Minister's Office, now ICT and National Guidance. That happened until 1963 when UTV was born.
Odoki asserts to the fact that with the evolution of private media in Uganda in the 1980s, the government-owned media houses had a dry test.
You could no longer afford to take the viewers for granted. You cannot afford to take the audience for granted. You needed to improve on the quality of the service that you give. You needed to improve on the quality of the content that you give.
He notes that for the dark days came when government of Uganda liberalized the economy.
Many people could now switch because you had liberty to move from one station to another. So you are no longer confined to watching only one station, maybe UTV, which we used to watch then.
For government of Uganda took a path of capitalizing UTV and Radio Uganda through the 2005 UBC Act, to which many asserts need to be respected.
UBC Act spells out the mandate of a public service broadcaster, that is UBC. Number one, to develop a broadcast infrastructure across the country. Number two, to make sure that every citizen is able to receive information.
Although the UBC Act 2005 had a component and clause of TV tax, for years it has not been respected.
Now, one key area where UBC was supposed to be funded was through the TV tax.
It is therefore revealed that for close to 10 years, since 2005, government of Uganda only sent 10 billion shillings to the national broadcaster.
At the time that UBC was formed, UBC had very old equipment from Radio Uganda and from UTV. Now, to get this to meet the current pace at which technology is developing, you cannot do that with that kind of budget.
With neighbors like Kenya, who funds the public broadcaster with 27 billion shillings per year, Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation pocketing 40 billion shillings annually, Uganda remains the poor facilitators to the state media, having received at one time shillings 1 billion every year.
So as a result of that, we don't have a way out but to turn to government, which is actually the owner of UBC.
And now President Kaguta Museveni's directive to monopolize government adverts to UBC is a move being welcomed.
And believe you me, if at all the president meant that it should be so, perhaps he can be persuaded to understand that there is need to support the private sector.
According to William Odok, it is written in black and white that UBC needs funds as of yesterday. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Of the National Executive Committee for Forum for Democratic Change Party have disassociated themselves from the ongoing election, branding it as a sham that violates the party's constitution. While reading a statement signed by these members to the press at Fairway Hotel in Kampala, the party spokesperson Ibrahim Semujonganda said they demand that the current party electoral commission be disbanded.
During the just concluded FDC Party National Council meeting, the standoff on conducting internal party elections was discussed and no decision was made. However, some members of the party from different regions across the country are surprised that an exercise that is not transparent is taking place in the absence of a voters' register where only those with party cards must qualify. They urge the people they represent to shun such political appointments from the party because those conducting them are not following right procedures.
Call upon all people who represent, especially in the Kabaale region, not to take part in the sham elections.
Situation where the Secretariat has appointed members to fill the structures of a city, of a district which I represent, I really reject.
As from my region, I call upon you to resist this election until we told you to do so. And
as these were organizing a Shabe election, Biamakama was announcing a roadmap. It is not a coincidence. It is a plan.
In a statement signed by some National Executive Committee members to disassociate themselves from the elections, the spokesperson FDC, Semujo Ibrahim Nganda, alleges the Secretary General, Nandala Mafabi, stopped the exercise of issuance of party cards after ensuring only his voters had received.
Kabamwenda Electoral Commission must be disbanded. A new, credible and impartial electoral commission should be instituted. Amriyad and any other party leaders or leader who intend to participate in this election as a candidate should step aside, and an interim leadership is constituted to steer the party up to the next delegates conference.
The party, by going ahead to conduct elections, violates the resolutions made during the 16th June NEC meeting to stay the elections and hold a retreat to discuss issues in the party, including the alleged dirty money.
To date, the 2-3 individuals who have hijacked management of the party are not allowing those processes to take place. And that's the reason we have made it categorically clear that unless and until we go into a retreat, come up with a proper roadmap, those elections are not going to proceed.
The FDC Vice President for Eastern Region, Salam Musumba, says the elections taking place are not credible because the standards of gazetting the day, time and place are not being followed. While the Deputy President, Northern Region FDC, Okin PP Ojara, said this election abrogates the constitution of the party and they will not be party.
Even in the places where the selections have happened, that standard has not been met. We all believe and know that they have been grossly interfered with. And therefore it's not too much to ask from our colleagues an election that meets the standards of Forum for Democratic Change.
The Constitution, then what is the purpose of this Constitution? What is the purpose of this law?
Some members have vowed to rally fellow members to defend the party, while others say what they have to do is not negotiable because they are not going to be compromised.
The members that I know are not going to give up on democracy. The FDC members that I know are not going to give up on fighting for Forum for Democratic Change.
We're ready to put in our all, and we're not ready to allow anybody to mess around with the FDC.
It is only when the top leadership of the FDC party agrees to hold a retreat, as it was resolved in NEC, and deliberates on issues destabilizing the party, that the party will regain harmony. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
And fishermen dealing in cargo boat loading and passengers movement at Kasenyi landing site to different islands of Kalangala have accused authorities of negligence in supervising and monitoring how much tons of cargo and passengers each boat carries. Tuesday night, the 1st of August, a boat capsized in Lake Victoria and over 20 people are still missing and suspected dead.
UPDF Marine has resumed operations on cargo boats transporting passengers without life jackets. The operation will go through the night to stop movements of boats to reduce accidents occurring on Lake Victoria.
Now we are going to start arresting you people. Whoever doesn't have a life jacket and we happen to intercept you, we are going to work hand in hand with the police, with the Marine Police. Whoever, because for now we have seen several times now in the few months back, people have lost their lives. They have been so negligent their lives because of the life jackets.
The cargo boat from Kalangala Island to Kasese landing site capsized midway due to overloading, claiming 20 lives on board. As such mission to retrieve bodies has not yielded result. The UPDF Marine report shows that the capsized boat was overloaded.
It had 15 bags of silver fish. It had the dry fish. It had the fresh fish. It had the food and the people.
However, supervision and monitoring of the movement of cargo boats and passengers is questionable. At Kasenyi landing site, UBC witnessed management of cargo boats, management and loading. The cargo boat loading was competitive as business flock waited to board with merchandise. Nobody ensures compliance to boat condition, size and capacity.
Either wanatukozesa bwongo no loading never loading elyato batatutegedde baba meka bali suppose digenda ko bameka elyato nelitikira ddala kabindo kati olisanga epo oli balina akola ki
tuba tutika bino ebinaala babosi tebabeerawo babeera mu ofiisi gaabwe abaana be bakola ki be batika kati bosi ne bosanga ng'ekinala kijjudde n'omugabe tubitooleko takkiriza olw'ensonga tayagala kutwala kago yafune ssente wa.
The fisher flock loading boats told UBC that there were no guidelines to follow.
Batugerere amaato nti eryo tulina kutwala abantu bwe bati lina kutwala kago yenkana bwati.
Tebafaayo ku bano bakiraya nti abatudde mu ki ne commodities n'obutafaayo ku life y'abantu abakola ki abalimu. Era mbadde nsaba gavumenti singa ebadde esobola babawe ne pameti. The
UPDF Marine also accused fishermen of negligence on observing requirements on board, like putting on the life jackets.
Others, they carry out this criminal part of it. They could move, they could commit crimes. Secondly, carry out so much illegalities. So when you say boat moving at night, at times it could be having those activities carrying out.
Twetaaga government tuterewo ne rescue team ezibeera ku mazzi nti singa amato gaba gafunye obuzibu tubaako wetukuba essimu eza emergency ku speed tulina kale abamalini poliisi n'amagye oluusi tubakubira naye ate oluusi bakeerewa.
However, fishermen complain of taxes as a factor to overloading and acquiring life jackets and boat engines.
And with that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for international certification and employment in various disciplines. 12,000 Ugandans have received global oil industry training and international certification in welding, heavy goods vehicle driving, and scaffolding, among others. 6 public and private institutions have received international accreditation and certification from industry bodies such as City and Guilds, ECITB, OPITO, AWS, and NEBOSH. 250 government officers from various ministries and agencies have trained in oil and gas-related disciplines such as petroleum engineering, geosciences, law, and economics. 71,300 Ugandans are currently employed in the sector. The National Oil and Gas Talent Register provides visibility to Ugandans with skills and competencies for possible employment in the oil and gas sector. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial *185*7*6# to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Tonight. Government is yet to remodify China-Uganda Friendship Hospital, known as Naguru Hospital, as a national referral handling emergency healthcare center. This is anticipated to bring down the cases of casualties that end in death. Let's take a look.
It is anticipated that 70% of casualties who succumb to accidents would have been saved if they had access to emergency help. To bridge this gap, government is in the process of upgrading China-Uganda Friendship Hospital, known as Naguru Hospital, into a national referral to handle emergency response.
We are in transition. We are not yet there. But even before that was proposed, Naguru was like any other health unit managing these crash victims. Of course, even when Naguru eventually stabilizes and becomes the national trauma center.
According to a survey conducted by Twaweza in collaboration with the Ministry of Health in line with responding to emergencies, findings indicate that a minimal number of people have knowledge on handling emergency issues.
Very few Ugandans know of a toll-free number that they can call in case of an emergency. We see only 3% say that they are aware of a 911 number. Then the rest of them do not know any number. So there needs to be a mechanism to ensure that Ugandans are aware of the numbers available so that in case of an emergency, you know which number to call.
The chairperson, Parliamentary Committee on Health, Dr. Charles Ayume, highlighted the need to regulate the nature and type of emergency service providers to ensure operational standards are maintained.
Policy stipulates the definition of an ambulance. It stipulates what are the services. By implementation, we have already started. I told you we have already bought ambulances, the Type B ambulances, so the Land Cruiser hardtops that you're seeing, which offer basic emergency services.
The government is making strides, inroads, of course first by passing the new Traffic and Road Safety Act. You have been a provision that is affording victims.
To implement the steps taken, first aid respondents need to be cautioned about their works, calling upon the need for more training of respondents. Irene Faith Nantongu, Mary Namukose, UBC News.
And today marks the end of mosquito nets distribution in 14 districts with the highest malaria burden in the country, with over 4 million nets distributed to help in the fight against malaria. The mosquito net distribution is part of the ongoing universal coverage campaign exercise dubbed Under the Net. Officials from the Ministry of Health visited Kaliro district to supervise and monitor the distribution of the mosquito nets for the masses.
A mosquito net is one of the most effective ways of preventing malaria and can reduce the number of complicated malaria episodes in areas of high malaria transmission by 50%. It is against this backdrop that the Ministry of Health officials visited Kaliro district in eastern Uganda to supervise the ongoing mosquito net distribution in 14 districts.
Mosquito nets will continue until November 2023, and we will be informing each and every district of their distribution dates. Allow me to appreciate each and everyone who has come here today to witness this launch of mosquito net distribution in Kaliro, most especially the residents of this sub-county.
As the net distribution exercise comes to an end, the target was to protect over 9 million Ugandans against the deadly malaria disease, and so far 34 districts have received mosquito nets. The district health officer of Kaliro district noted that there is high malaria burden in the district, counting to over 70%, and urged the locals to put the nets in good use.
So we expect that people are going to be able to use these nets well, and we shall reduce the malaria in the area. At least from the 70% of the people who come to our OPDs who are having malaria cases, we reduce it. And I believe this will happen with the proper use of of the mosquito nets which are being distributed to us today.
During the distribution of the nets in Kaliro district, there was a general complaint of the nets not being enough. Some of the residents were seen protesting and complaining.
Only 80 people, they are willing to receive those nets because they are suffering from mosquito malaria. So we are requesting the Ministry of Health to help us such that we get the nets.
Unfortunately, the number of mosquito nets which they've given us is quite limited compared to the number we're having in the district. However, the little we've got, we've tried to distribute. Therefore, I'm just requesting if there's a chance, at least they can add us mosquito nets so that all the people in our district can be catered for.
Under the Net campaign is the fourth universal coverage campaign that the country is undertaking at the cost of $120 million. The funds were mobilized from the government, Global Fund Against HIV, TB and Malaria, USAID, among others. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Minister of Health Dr. Jen Ruth Acheng has called upon the general public to stay alert and vigilant during the months of August through November, since they are prone to outbreaks. Acheng made the remarks while handing over 220 motorcycles and 427 laptops to 12 refugee host district representatives. The minister appreciated district leaders for the delivery of health services despite of the challenges encountered in their line of duty. These districts include Lamo, Chikube, Chiriandongo, Chegegwa, Isinjiro, Obongi, Madi, Okolo, Yumbe, Ajumani, Terego, Kamwenge and Koboko. And the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, cautioned the chief administrative officers from the host communities and end users to strictly use the motorcycles for the intended purpose and not misuse them. The initiative is aimed at addressing critical challenges faced by the refugee host communities, fostering better transport, communication and coordination, among others.
Thank you very much. Before you go away, let me talk about outbreaks. This is the month. The month of August is always the month where we begin to worry about outbreaks. And from the trends that you have seen, there is no particular district that is safe. There is no district that is safe in Uganda. There is even no city that is safe. But you who host refugees, you are more disadvantaged because you have your original population and the refugee population. So you have more than double what you are supposed to handle. And should an outbreak occur in your districts, it can be a very difficult situation. So we need you to do a little more out of the usual, a little more, to put in much more effort, because you are the administrators in these districts. Push your DHOs, push the surveillance officers, because when an outbreak occurs, you are also not safe.
These motorcycles are going to be given to in-charges, but the in-charges are going to be held accountable in case of any loss. Any loss, in-charge must pay back. We don't have any middle ground. Any loss, motorcycles must be replaced. Number two, these riders who are going to ride the in-charges, you see, you'll have in-charges who are women and who are men. Men can be trained to use the motor, but women, it might be harder to sit with your in-charges that as we give these motorcycles to them, these motorcycles are not for weddings. They are not for Kwanjula. They are not for it. These motorcycles are government property and must be strictly be used for the work they are supposed to do. These motorcycles will help us in community sensitization. These motorcycles will help us to change the narrative of saying the people at the sub-county don't have means to move to the next village to educate people.
In a momentous collaboration, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Rotary Club and Centenary Bank have joined forces to launch a cancer run with the goal of combating cancer on a global scale. The initiative aims at raising awareness about cancer, promote early detection and provide support to patients and survivors. With overwhelming community involvement and innovative fundraising strategies, the event promises to create a lasting impact on individuals and families affected by cancer.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Rotary Club and Centenary Bank collaborate on a groundbreaking cancer run to combat cancer's impact. Their shared determination creates a formidable force in the fight against the disease.
Gesture of goodwill and solidarity, and this token of appreciation to you and the entire ministry at large.
It is a great to Uganda to be part of the Rotary Run towards the campaign against cancer, because this is done for the good of the community of Uganda and Ugandans who are staying within the boundaries of Uganda. And you're also aware that the participation has been scaled up to beyond the boundaries of Uganda, including Ugandans who are abroad, under the auspices of our missions abroad. And the significance of this is that missions are created to Uganda, part of the Ugandan community.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs takes the lead in elevating global health issues, supporting the cancer brand to raise funds for cancer research and treatment, and fostering international cooperation.
For which we use as benchmarks, the awareness. How many people get to know about, first of all, cancer, as it were. Number two, we also look at the cases who come early, those who come in proactively to go and check up for cancer. Then thirdly, we also look at how many cases have been managed, how many cases out of early detection.
The cancer run is 4.4 billion. And the amount of money that we are looking for in the 12th edition is 2 billion.
Community involvement plays a vital role in the cancer brand's success, with local businesses, residents and volunteers passionately supporting the cause. The Rotary Club's dedication to service and Centenary Bank's innovative fundraising strategies further strengthened the initiative.
Excited to be at this event where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is joining us with a cancer run and calling upon the diaspora team, the diaspora people and embassies in the country. You know, Centenary Bank has been part of the Bridging the Cancer Gap program for the last 12 years. I believe we are the longest serving partner.
The cancer brand embodies hope and solidarity, symbolizing the resilience of the human spirit, with inclusivity and accessibility as priorities. Survivors' stories inspire participants, making the event a beacon of hope in the global fight against cancer. Sandra Kahunde, Jamil Sekaja, News Tonight.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles? So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21 hash or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Step into the future of African coffee at the second G25 Africa Coffee Summit hosted by Uganda. The summit will be held at Speak Resort Munyonyo from the 8th to the 10th of August 2023. Heads of state from Africa's 25 coffee-growing nations and coffee value chain actors will delve into the theme, Transforming the African Coffee Sector Through Value Addition. The summit is a defining moment for Africa's coffee-growing nations. It's time to listen, innovate, and invest in Africa's coffee future, ignite the potential of African coffee. Organized by the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries and Uganda Coffee Development Authority in collaboration with the Inter-African Coffee Organization.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108MP triple camera and 68 watts first charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100 hash, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series Spark, a connection in partnership with Airtel, a reason to imagine.
In business news, government has moved to effect inter-agency coordination among agencies responsible for licensing investments in Uganda. The move, revealed during a breakfast meeting at Uganda Investment Authority, is aimed at avoiding delays and other anomalies associated with licensing investors. State Minister for Investment and Privatization, Evelyn Anite, says the one-stop business center shelters 15 entities to ease doing business.
Because my wine is healthy. It's not this alcohol which disturbs the health of people.
The concerns are many from both local and foreign investors. They range from what they describe as unfair taxation, selective tax exemption, and excessive taxes.
We told them that we have got the exemption from URA, and this is the government policy, but they forced us to pay, and we didn't want to default on our commitment to the suppliers, and we had to make the payment. So we paid the stamp duty. I request yourself, Commissioner General, that we should be reimbursed that stamp duty which we paid despite having the exemption.
So that is the biggest problem. I would feel very bad that at this level, somebody who started with 5 liters from my kitchen, now I have come to international level, still the whole family working very hard to build the economy to the tune of exporting in the whole world, and we just close like that because we cannot pay the government the money it needs.
These are some of the reasons why Uganda Revenue Authority has been part of this breakfast meeting. URA's Commissioner General, Musinguzi Rujoki, has taken time to explain.
We are constantly addressing this. I agree, the telecom sector is something where we had limited knowledge, but this year we have taken on a deliberate project to increase our capacity, and you will see a lot of improvement. So that is being addressed.
Uganda Revenue Authority has participated as one of the agencies accommodated in this one-stop center. The breakfast meeting has been graced by State Minister for Investment, Evelyn Anite. She compliments URA in explaining taxation.
Facilitation of investment is very key for this, for our work, and as government we want to continue attracting these investors to come in Uganda with the spirit of ensuring that we create jobs for the young people.
Anite says the center is timely in quickening business and investment licensing processes.
Because we are under strict directive of facilitate investment within 48 hours. So that means that from registration, which is done by URSB, certification, which is done by UIA, to registration of a TIN number, which is done by the Uganda Revenue Authority, to land, because you might have to register your land, which is done by Ministry of Lands, to certification of environmental impact assessment, to standards. All these have to be under one roof.
If the one-stop center works the way we want it to work, absolutely efficient. People on the move, people are educated, people are young, they want solutions quickly. So we want to set that standard so that we reduce the cost of doing business in Uganda and we set the standard for the region.
Uganda Revenue Authority, Uganda Investment Authority, Uganda Registration Services Bureau are among the 15 entities housed here. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Upgrade your lifestyle with the all-new entry-loaded Chillax voice bundles. Now, call all networks in Uganda with Chillax voice bundles. Call all networks, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1# and select call all networks. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
And Now in sports, the long-awaited 15th edition of the NSSF KVC Volleyball International Tournament will commence on with 19 local clubs and 11 regional clubs at Lugogo Indoor Stadium from the 4th of August till the 6th. The prestigious event has been boosted by 50 million shillings by title sponsors NSSF.
The International Volleyball Tournament attracts regional clubs to compete against local teams with an aim to produce the game among the youth and general public. For the next 3 days, hosts KVC are ready to put up a great showpiece that will have 19 local clubs and 11 regional clubs in both the male and female categories.
We shall have this tournament running from 4th to the 6th, and the venue is here in Lugogo, both at the indoor and the hockey pitch. We will start our games at 8:30, and this will run for the 3 days. We are more than ready, and this time we are determined to maintain the trophies home. The coaches are working hard with the teams, and we are proud to say that we will represent the country really well.
KVC Volleyball Club is in high gear to take part in this competition with hopes of grabbing their hands on the trophy they last won back in 2018.
The preparations have been going very well. We're privileged that we are practicing at the venue, which is our home ground. So we are fully prepared. We've done all our part, and as the host, we're hopeful that we're going to do very well. We're hopeful that we will reach the finals, and we're hopeful that we will lift the trophy.
For the KVC International the past 15 years, title sponsors NSSF have renewed their partnership deal with 50 million.
So this year we'll support the tournament with a cash contribution of 50 million Uganda shillings as our sponsorship. It will go towards supporting and making sure that the technical aspects of the game are taken care of. Through the tournament, we have contributed to a number of Ugandan players going professional. A number of them are playing within the region and a few in Europe. Again, we are happy that we made that kind of contribution, and we'll continue to do so in the near future.
Other partners are the National Council of Sports, Total Energies, Crown Beverages and Good Life Pharmacy. The games will run from the 4th to the 6th at the Lugogo complex from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Interest will be 5,000 and 10,000 ordinary and VIP respectively. Marsha Miro, UBC News.
And that does it for news tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. This weekend, Youth of Purpose.
Today on the show, I'm having someone from Peak ED, an education technology company, and they're going to be helping us to understand how they're empowering the young people in equipping them with the skills that they need, majorly in data analysis.
Peak ED is a Ugandan education company and is a subsidiary of Peak Fair Group Uganda. And we are into skilling of the youth.
Why should any young person be interested in, learning data management?
Data management is a very interesting field right now. For example, across all industries, from retail, from sales, to agriculture, to transportation, to education, all these are fields that are utilizing data. So there is no organization as a young person, let's say you're looking for a job, or you're looking even to set up your business, that you're not going to work with data.
With the skills that I've been able to learn from EduSkill, I've been able to apply them in this